Over the past year or so, Bryson DeChambeau has experienced a meteoric rise in his golf play and character development. Winning the US Open this past Sunday certainly helps the cause, but there's a lot more going on behind the scenes that's turning Bryson into the most likable guy in golf. After watching this video, I'm sure you'll agree that the PGA Tour is likely itching to have this guy back on their side. But anyway, let's get into it. I want to start things off by reminding you all that Bryson hasn't always had a good guy image. When he first broke onto the scene, a lot of people viewed him as arrogant, and he would sometimes get slandered for his quote-unquote weird behavior. Unlike many professional golfers, Bryson is very much into math and science, and so he applies a lot of his own ideologies to his golf game. His choice of clubs, golf balls, and other equipment seem to constantly be put under the microscope, and it's likely because he's always played well enough to warrant it. Now let's fast forward to 2022, when an unprecedented move took the golf world by storm. The super-loaded Saudi Public Investment Fund decided to start up its own golf association to take on the PGA Tour. Live Golf quickly started shelling out boatloads of cash to some of the best golfers in the world, and they were quite successful in getting a bunch of guys to flip from the PGA Tour. If we fast forward again to 2024, you'll notice that Live Golf has acquired even more guys from the PGA Tour, and that there's clearly some type of void left by all the disappearing talent. You might be thinking, what does any of this have to do with Bryson DeChambeau? And to put it simply, it's guys like Bryson DeChambeau that created that void on the PGA Tour, and he's not even doing it intentionally. For regular and signature PGA Tour events, live golfers are not allowed to compete due to some rules that were put in place. Majors, on the other hand, are an exception, and there's no better place to make a name for yourself as a golfer. The real kicker here is that over the past few major tournaments, the best live golfers are showing up and performing better than some of the best PGA Tour guys. Bryson DeChambeau, as our prime example, just won the US Open, placed runner-up at the PGA Championship, and placed 6th at the Masters right before that. That's going to get some heads turning for sure. In addition to great golf play, DeChambeau has also evolved as a person in a tremendous way. He began posting to YouTube regularly a couple years ago, and since then his channel has seen exponential growth. By being one of the best golfers in the world and posting entertaining content for regular people, it's easy to see why he could become very likable. He gives back to the people who support him, and there's plenty more proof of Bryson being a class act. Back in May, a video surfaced of Bryson throwing a golf ball to a young fan. Within seconds, a grown man snatched the ball out of midair and ran away. Bryson noticed what happened and immediately marched toward the fan area to demand the ball be given back to the boy. Sure enough, the man gave the ball back and everything was resolved. This video has been viewed over 13 million times on X, and it generated a lot of respect for Bryson. Next, we'll talk about the dedication this guy has to fan interactions. He goes out of his way to sign autographs, give high fives, shake hands, and a lot of other great things that most professional athletes just don't do. Before the US Open was even finished, he took the time to interact with a disabled kid and sign his hat. He walks off shaking hands while the commentators note that he's been acting like this all week. Shortly after this, he secures the US Open win, but again the focus isn't on himself. According to multiple reports, DeChambeau stayed for hours after his win just to sign autographs and interact with fans. ESPN even posted a photo showing that phone flashlights were needed because he stayed out for so long. Ultimately, the point being made here is that DeChambeau is currently the hero that the golf world needs. The humility and energy he's displayed over the past few major tournaments will stick with a lot of golf fans for a long time, and truth be told, there's still a lot of greatness left to come for Bryson. I'll close this video out by asking a question to the PGA and golf fans alike. Would you rather have the face of your sport be a guy who won't shake hands in defeat, or would you prefer a guy who shakes all hands no matter what? Bryson DeChambeau stock is going to the moon.